The ad said night clerk needed, $18 per hour, quiet location. Perfect for a broke 19-year-old like me, hoping to sketch and study between customers. Carver's fuel stop was a squat, weathered building off Route 17, tucked at the edge of Blackthorn Woods, a dense forest that seemed to swallow the road. I'd only moved to this small town a month ago, and the station's flickering neon sign was the first thing I noticed while driving around looking for work. The owner, Hank Carver, was a wiry man with a gray beard and eyes that darted like he was always expecting trouble. When I walked in, he was wiping down a counter that looked like it hadn't been cleaned since the 80s. A small TV played an old horror movie, this sound barely audible over the hum of the fluorescent lights. "You here for the job?" he asked, not looking up. "Yeah," I said, shifting my backpack. "I'm Ellie." He sized me up, then pointed to a wooden stool behind the counter. "You'll work nights, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Pays $18 an hour. Fridays off. I handle days. You good with that?" I nodded. It sounded easy enough. The place looked dead. Maybe one car an hour would roll through. I could draw, maybe even work on my portfolio. Hank handed me a key ring and a tattered blue notebook. "This is your Bible," he said, his voice low. "Read it when I'm gone. Follow it to the letter. And keep an eye on Whisper." He gestured toward the window. Outside, perched on a rusted, open 24 hours sign, was a massive owl, its feathers a mix of ash gray and white. Its yellow eyes locked onto mine, unblinking. "Whisper?" I asked. "She's our lookout. If she hoots, you listen. Something's coming." He didn't explain further, just grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. "Lock up if you need to. Coffee's in the back. Don't slack on the rules." Then he was gone, his truck rumbling into the dusk. I stood there, alone except for the owl outside. The station felt too quiet, like it was holding its breath. I checked the place out to calm my nerves. Restroom, storage closet, tiny office with a hot plate and a coffee maker. All clear. I grabbed a soda from the cooler, settled behind the counter, and opened the blue notebook. The pages were filled with neat, handwritten rules, each numbered and precise. I read the first few, my stomach tightening with every line. "Do not write in or damage this book. If you learn something new, add it to the back. Customers asking about the woods, tell them to camp at Pine Ridge, 90 minutes east. Talk up the lake views and picnic areas. If they insist on Blackthorn Woods, check their bags and clothes for anything blue. No blue hats, shirts, or gear. Do whatever it takes to get them to remove it. Offer discounts, trade items, anything. The color blue draws the shadow. Never wear blue while working here. Don't leave a blue car parked out front. The shadow stays in the woods, but don't tempt it. Whisper the owl is your warning. If she hoots twice, someone or something is coming. She's never wrong. Every morning at dawn, fill her dish on the sign with raw bacon strips and a handful of blackberries. This is her payment as guardian of Route 17. Never skip this. If you see a white coyote near the pumps, follow its lead. That's Scout. He shows up when things go wrong. Check the ice machine every hour. If it starts humming louder than usual, unplug it immediately. Do not open it until the noise stops. If you see a storm with silver lightning, close the road. Get the road closed sign and cones from the storage room and block the path into Blackthorn Woods. If the sky turns blood red, it's a code red. Grab the emergency kit from the office, load it into the pickup out back, and evacuate everyone from the woods. Check all 6 campsites for vehicles or tents. Get everyone out, no exceptions. Keep the slushy machine running. If it stops, the motor burns out and you'll regret it. I stopped reading, my hands shaking. The shadow? A coyote named Scout? A blood-red sky? This had to be a prank. Hank was probably some eccentric old guy who liked messing with new hires. But the rules were so specific, so serious. I glanced outside. Whisper stared back, her eyes glowing under the sodium lights. The woods beyond were pitch black, swallowing the horizon. I decided to give it a week. $18 an hour was too good to walk away from over some weird notes. I'd follow the rules, keep my head down, and save up for school. But as the sun set, the station felt less like a job and more like a trap. At 9 p.m., Whisper let out 2 sharp hoots. My heart jumped. I stood, gripping the counter, and watched a beat-up sedan pull up to the pumps. A guy in his 20s got out, wearing a gray hoodie and jeans, no blue. I exhaled, relieved, and waved as he came inside. "Evening," he said, grabbing a bag of chips and a soda. "You got a map of the woods? Me and my friends are camping tonight." I forced a smile, remembering Rule 2. "You should try Pine Ridge, about an hour east. Great lake. Clean facilities. The works." He frowned. "Nah, we're set on Blackthorn. Got a spot picked out already." My pulse quickened. "You sure? Pine Ridge is safer. Better views." I scanned his bag. No blue. But I couldn't shake the rule about the shadow. "We're good," he said, sliding cash across the counter. "Just the snacks." I rang him up, my mind racing. He didn't have anything blue, so maybe it was fine. But as he walked out, I noticed his car, a bright blue hatchback. The rules said no blue cars parked out front. I hesitated, then called after him. "Hey, you might want to park across the street. The lot's, reserved for staff tonight." He gave me a weird look but shrugged and moved his car. I watched him drive off toward the woods, my stomach twisting. Had I done enough? The night dragged on, quiet except for the hum of the ice machine. I checked it hourly, as instructed, and stirred the slushy machine to keep it from clogging. At 5 a.m., Whisper hooted again, and I froze. A low growl came from outside. I peeked through the window and saw a white coyote, Scout, standing by the pumps, staring into the woods. His ears twitched, and he bolted toward the trees. I grabbed the notebook, flipping to Rule 5. Follow Scout when things go wrong. My hands shook as I locked the front door and stepped outside. The air was heavy, and the sky over the woods was turning a deep, unnatural red. Rule 8 flashed in my mind, code red. I sprinted to the office, grabbed the emergency kit, a duffel bag stuffed with flashlights, flares, and a first aid kit, and ran to the pickup truck out back. The keys were in the ignition, thank God. I floored it toward the woods, following the path Scout had taken. The red sky pulsed like a heartbeat, casting an eerie glow over the trees. At the first campsite, I found the blue hatchback from earlier. The guy and his friends were packing up, their faces pale. "You see that sky?" one of them shouted. "What the hell is that?" "Tornado warning," I lied, remembering how Cooper had handled it. "Pack up and go, now." They didn't argue, just threw their gear into the car and peeled out. Scout was already gone, racing toward the next campsite. I followed, my heart pounding. Campsites 2 and 3 were empty, but at 4, I found a lone tent. A woman was inside, zipping up her sleeping bag. She wore a blue scarf. "You need to leave," I said, breathless. "Storm's coming. It's not safe." She looked confused, but nodded, grabbing her stuff. I offered to trade her scarf for a green one from the store's stock. She hesitated, but took the deal. As she drove off, I saw Scout waiting by the road, his eyes glinting in the red light. Campsite 5 was a nightmare. A family of 4 was there, their tent surrounded by blue camping gear, chairs, a cooler, even a kid's backpack. Scout was circling the site, growling low. The parents were arguing, oblivious to the sky. I ran up, shouting about a storm. They barely listened until Scout lunged forward, snapping at the air. The kids screamed, and that got the parents moving. As they packed, I noticed a figure in the trees. Tall, thin, dressed in black with a wide-brimmed hat. A blue ribbon circled the hat's base. The shadow. It stood motionless, blending into the darkness, but I felt its gaze. My skin crawled. I grabbed a flare from the kit, lit it, and waved it toward the figure. It flinched, retreating into the woods. The family didn't notice, too busy piling into their car. Scout led me to campsite 6, the last one. A lone hiker was there, sitting by a fire, wearing a blue jacket. The sky was now a deep pulsing crimson, and the air felt electric. Scout barked furiously, and I saw the shadow again, closer this time, its outline shimmering like heat waves. The hiker froze, staring at something I couldn't see. I remembered the notebook's note about light. I grabbed a flashlight from the kit, cranked it to the brightest setting, and aimed it at the shadow. It let out a guttural hiss and vanished into the trees. I ran to the hiker, dragging him to the truck. "We're leaving," I said, not giving him a choice. Back at the station, the hiker, Mark, sat shaking, clutching a coffee I'd poured him. "What was that thing?" he whispered. "I don't know," I said, echoing Cooper's honesty, "but you're safe now." Hank called at dawn. He'd been in a car accident. Minor, but enough to keep him at the hospital overnight. He was fine, but shaken. I told him about the night, the red sky, the shadow. He just sighed. "You did good, Ellie. Keep following the rules." I stayed on at Carver's. The pay was good, and I felt needed, like I was guarding something bigger than a gas station. Hank might be the gatekeeper, but I'm learning to be one too. The woods are alive with things I can't explain, and every night I watch for whispers, hoots, and Scout's growls. My name is Ellie, and this strange, terrifying job might just be where I belong.